Instagram, Facebook and youth mental health. The 9,030 rupees crore question for Meta. At 2 o'clock in the night, a 14-year-old child was sitting in his room holding his phone. Everyone in the house was asleep, but his screen was awake, and behind that very screen a question was slowly making its way to the courtroom. The mother thought the child was just watching reels. The father thought all kids do the same these days. But in court, a completely different story was unfolding, where the question was whether these apps are merely entertainment or machines designed to take control of children's minds. Then came an order from a New Mexico court that sent shockwaves all the way to Silicon Valley. Facebook and Instagram's parent company Meta faced a penalty burden of $942 million, which translates to roughly 9,030 crore rupees. But the real fear wasn't in the penalty itself. The real fear lay in what the court said about children, algorithms and mental health. Because this case was no longer just about one company, it became about an entire digital childhood. Once, Facebook was a platform to connect with friends. Instagram was a place to share photos. But slowly these apps began inserting themselves into children's loneliness, comparison, attention and identity. First thing in the morning, a teenager doesn't look in the mirror, they look at a screen. How many likes did I get? Who watched my story? Who looks more beautiful, successful or popular? And these very small check-ins gradually turn into emotional pressure. New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres had filed a lawsuit against Meta. The allegation was that the company was aware of the risks, yet it did not make children's safety a priority. The court case proceeded in two major parts. In the first part, Meta suffered a setback over allegations related to the sexual exploitation of children and safety failures. In the second part, questions deepened around mental health harm and platform design. In the first phase, the court imposed a civil penalty of $375 million on Meta. At the core of the charges was the point that dangerous actors targeting children were present on the platform and the safety system was weak. Then came the second phase, and the matter grew even larger. The court imposed an additional penalty of $567 million on Meta, bringing the total amount to $942 million. Out of this total penalty, a sum of $420 million was specified to be spent on the treatment of children and youth. This meant the court didn't just impose a fine, it also defined the direction for repairing the harm. Now the story moves out of the courtroom and into children's bedrooms. Because the question was, were these apps intentionally designed in a way that keeps a child trapped in swiping, scrolling and refreshing? Prosecutors questioned Meta's algorithms in court. They stated that the platform's design keeps children engaged for longer periods, and this prolonged exposure can be linked to problems like depression, anxiety and addiction. The algorithm shows you whatever you pause on. If a child lingers on sad content, the system can show them even more content like that. If they look at body comparison, the feed can head in that exact direction. This is where the biggest contradiction of social media comes to light. The very same platform that promises friendship and self-expression can sometimes leave a teenager trapped inside a closed room of comparison, rejection and loneliness. It was also argued in court that children could fall into the danger of sexual exploitation on Meta's platforms. The prosecution's allegation was that the company knew about the danger, but the prevention measures were not as strong as they should have been. This accusation was not just a technical question of online safety. It was a question from a parent who thinks, my child is inside the house, so they are safe. But in the digital world, danger can enter right inside the walls of your home. Meta expressed disagreement with the ruling. The company stated that it would appeal and is continuously introducing features and tools to improve children's safety. In short, the fight is not over yet. However, the court didn't speak only about money. It also addressed platform changes. According to some reports, Meta could face responsibilities such as banners, age-related safeguards, under 13 data handling, and regular reporting. Now the question arises, if the court was so serious, why didn't it impose mandatory age verification? That is the most unexpected twist in this case. The court cited the limitations of COPPA, that is, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. If a company starts verifying the age of every child, it would have to ask children for personal information, which could itself become a privacy risk. In other words, if you ask for data to protect children, privacy is at risk. If you don't ask for data, there's the risk of underage accounts. This very maze of digital safety is the hardest to navigate. Here parents often ask, what is the solution then? Take away the phone? Delete the account? But the court case shows that the problem isn't just with the child's discipline, it's with the platform design as well. Because if an app grabs attention through endless scroll, notifications, autoplay, and recommendation loops, the child isn't merely weak. Standing across from them is a billion-dollar attention system. A teenager says, just 5 minutes. Then one reel connects to a second reel, then a third, then the comment section, then DMs, and then it's 2 in the morning. The next morning, that same child goes to school. They look normal from the outside, but inside, the pressure of lost sleep, comparison, and anxiety is building up. All the parents see is that the child has become irritable. Mental health experts have been saying for a long time that the impact of social media isn't uniform. Some children find a supportive community, but for vulnerable children, harmful content and comparison can be far more dangerous. This means social media isn't always poison, but it isn't always harmless either. It is precisely this middle truth that troubles regulators the most. The New Mexico case is significant because the court didn't view the harm merely as an individual parenting failure. It pointed a finger toward the platform design and corporate responsibility. Now imagine a company knows that teen users are giving it more screen time. More screen time increases ad revenue and data signals. That is where the real tension between safety and business begins. Companies like Meta say they have built tools like teen accounts, privacy controls, parental supervision, and content limits. However, the prosecutor's question was, were these tools enough and were they implemented in time? This very question reaches other players in the industry as well. TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, and gaming platforms are all part of the attention economy. The only difference is the interface. The mechanism often looks quite similar. Following this case, pressure could mount on other states in America too. More than 40 states have previously been involved in legal actions against Meta related to youth mental health. Now it's no longer just about Instagram. It has become a matter of whether digital platforms will understand children's psychology and change their design, or whether courts will force them to change. At one time, questions were raised about tobacco companies regarding whether they knew about the harm. Then came lawsuits over fast food, opioids, and data privacy. Now the attention economy stands in the courtroom. But the social media case is different. Here the product isn't a cigarette packet, it is a social world. A child makes friends on it, watches memes, views educational reels, and sometimes even finds emotional support. That's why a simple answer like a ban doesn't work. The real question is, will the platform behave differently for children? Will the algorithm consider their age, vulnerability, and safety as serious signals? The court sent a big message by talking about treatment and awareness programs. If harm has occurred, the money shouldn't just go into the state treasury, it should be directed toward the youth mental health response. The fact that $420 million has been set aside for treatment is also symbolic. It's as if the court is saying that digital harm may be invisible, but its cure is required in the real world. School counselors, screening services, prevention campaigns, and awareness programs can now become part of this debate. In short, the problem started from an app, but the solution will extend to classrooms, clinics, and families. And right here, an emotional layer unfolds. Many parents are unable to understand technology. Children view parents as outdated. Communication breaks down in the middle, and the algorithm fills that silence. The teenager feels that nobody understands them, but the feed instantly gives them content. A sad song, a heartbreak reel, body transformation, success comparison, dark humor, and then that same cycle keeps deepening. If a platform can identify a child's vulnerability, should it use that as a profit signal? This ethical question elevates these court cases into a story far bigger than a mere legal fight. For Meta, this isn't just a fine. It is a question raised against its reputation, regulation, and business model. If the algorithm has to be modified, engagement might change. If engagement changes, it could impact the revenue model. However, if nothing changes, lawsuits could increase. Parents, schools, and governments might become even more aggressive. This is the exact turning point where big tech will have to ask itself, what is the cost of growth? Now there is another hidden layer. Teens aren't just users, they are future consumers. The platform that wins their attention today can influence their habits, shopping, opinions, and identity tomorrow as well. Therefore, the question of youth safety isn't just about morality, it's also about market power. A company that enters adolescence can shape lifetime behavior. In the eyes of the court, this exact power demands accountability. If a platform is large enough to alter children's routines, can it hide its responsibility merely behind terms and conditions? Meta would argue that completely stopping bad actors on the internet is difficult. That point is practical. But prosecutors would say that being difficult and not trying enough are two different things. This is where the viewer understands an uncomfortable truth. Digital safety isn't a single button. It is an entire ecosystem of design, moderation, reporting, privacy, law enforcement, and parent awareness. Age verification isn't as simple as it sounds either. If you ask for ID, there's the fear of privacy violation. If you do AI age estimation, there's the fear of inaccuracy. If you rely on self-declaration, children can enter a fake age. So what is the way forward? Perhaps a combination of safer defaults, limited recommendations, stronger reporting, better parental tools, transparent audits, and teen-specific algorithm rules. Yet even on this path, companies will have to make an uncomfortable trade-off. Because if addictive design is reduced, watch time may drop. And in the attention economy, watch time is the only currency. That is the biggest twist of all. Money doesn't just come from advertisers. Money comes from that extra minute belonging to the child who leaves their homework behind to watch just one more reel.
This video has taught you something new. Or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible. But in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.